Hello to you, Lise. We are obviously getting live reports of Russian advances on a number of cities across the country. Can you give us the latest?
Oh yes, and may I just say that it's so interesting standing here in Kiev and listening to the conversation in London, and of course it makes sense to try to limit the bloodshed, limit the cost, limit the price that Ukrainians and many others around the world will pay. But this has been 7 days of an unthinkable invasion of a country by their neighbor, and the kind of raw patriotism you see here, the kind of proud, dignified statements that you hear day in, day out from the president of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, who's put aside the three-piece suit he used to wear when Western leaders, including Boris Johnson, came to visit him in the run-up to this invasion. He's now wearing olive green military uniforms and telling his people to stand strong. It would be so hard for them to surrender. It would be like asking the people of Britain not to allow France to come over and take over their territory. It would be telling the people of Britain, stop being British because you're French now. But yes, 7 days on, when you see the images from far away, they look so distressing. Close up, they are absolutely catastrophic. People's homes are being shattered, hospitals are being hit, orphanages are being hit. It says something about this war when the executive director of UNICEF, the world's children's charity of the United Nations, says that the violence and the pain for children increases by the minute.
We've seen, we're showing pictures now, Lise, of Kharkiv, Ukraine's second biggest city, which really has seen some terrible bombardment and shelling. We can see buildings there collapsing under the weight of all of that. In terms of Kyiv, the capital city itself, what is it now bracing itself for? Because over the last few days we have shown those aerial images of that massive 40-mile or so convoy of what we are told is Russian tanks and artillery heading for the capital to try and encircle it.
The situation this morning on a cold winter's day is that there is fighting outside of the capital. All the roads leading into Kiev, the villages surround it, are now wastelands. We've seen images of roads strewn with the carcasses of military vehicles, a lot of them Russian military vehicles, burnt beyond recognition. And yes, on the main road running north from Belarus to the Ukrainian capital, there is that long snake of an armored convoy. We heard last night from a U.S. defense official who said that the convoy hadn't moved very much. It's still less than 20 miles from Kiev. It's bristling with tanks and armored vehicles. No one is quite sure about what is happening. Is it stalled because they want to reassess the situation on the ground, because they're focusing on places like Kharkiv, the second city, on Kherson to the south, where the Russians seem to be in charge? There are reports of the convoy running out of food, running out of fuel. Reports, too, that some Russian soldiers in that long armored column don't want to fight, that this is not the kind of so-called military exercises they thought that they would be signing up for. But the air raid sirens continue to sound. Yesterday the television tower was attacked, and a warning came from the defense ministry in Moscow for people to leave areas around communication antennas, etc., because Russia would hit the security installations in this capital. So the mood is darkening, and the mood is getting more dangerous.
Lise Doucette there in Kiev, the capital city, thank you very much. Talking of Vladimir, these are the latest headlines in the UK and around the world. The Russian bombardment of Ukraine continues. The second biggest city, Kharkiv, is one of the hardest hit areas. Russian forces strike a university there. Russian airborne troops land in the city. At least 21 people are reported dead in shelling and aerial bombardments. In southern Ukraine, Moscow claims to have seized control of the port city of Kherson. The mayor says the city is surrounded, but is still under his control. President Zelensky of Ukraine accuses President Putin of Russia of trying to erase his country's history.